Hi, this is Gary. I'm bringing you or showing you a couple of new indicators. I like both of them, but actually combining both of them I think gives us a lot of additional information. So I wanted to show you how I use them. One of them is called the AweSome indicator. This one's a four-color AweSome indicator. There are a lot of awesome indicators out there. I'm sure you've probably seen them before. I happen to like this one because of the way it shades the colors and shows you when the trends start changing. You can see the lighter green trends up, darker green, we still have an uptrend, but it's heading back down. So there's kind of some caution there. And each time it kind of shows you the direction, but combine that with a couple of other indicators, and then you can really tell where you're at. So anything in this area of this indicator, you would only want to take buys. Anything in this area, you'd want to take sells, and so forth. Now you could be a little bit risky and say, hey, I see a downtrend starting here. So even though we're in the up, it might be a good time to try to, take some downtrend and think you would be in that downtrend all the way from here to here. So if we put some lines up here, we can see how the AweSome indicator works. Starting right about there was a good indication we're starting a downtrend. You could have stayed in that downtrend trend all the way down actually to here. But to get in profit, you can see looking at our indicator that we were starting to head back up. So that might be an area in here that you'd get out. So if you can see here, we could start and get into an uptrend. You're getting in. You don't get out until all the way down to here. So you're into this trend from what is it from here to here, something like that. And when it crosses, now one thing I always like to do is I always like to add trend lines. They're real simple. They're not really indicators, but they are indicators to me because if you look at some of these trend lines, you can see some major, some major points here. We've got hits a trend. We're going back here. We've got some resistance. We've got some resistance. That's a super trend line right there. But you can get into these trends and see we're going to go green. Well, let's make sure we get some profit. That means we're going up. We still see here we're still green, so that's a good time to stay in. And that becomes a trend line when you keep seeing where it's dropping down to. So then when it crossed here, you can see that is back here where we're turning dark green, starting back down. So that would have been a nice long profit here based on this. Now if we look down here at it's LMSA trend. This is basically a moving average trend guide. And you can see here where trends stop and where trends end and start changing based on these lines of how everything crosses. Now this one actually is kind of neat because you can see here it shows you almost like a MACD trend indicator. You can see when the trend starts heading back down, when the trend starts heading back up by the lower indicator here. You can see the averages. And then you can also see when you've got blue lines and red lines, and of course you can change colors on those, when is a good time to get in, get back out. And that one was a pretty short one, but you're going to get in, stay in, maybe get back out somewhere in here, especially down to here. And you've got some nice trend pockets. Now, if you combine that with these, though, you can see it showed on here. Let's combine them a little bit. If we see that's an uptrend, right? But the uptrend really began all the way back here. If you combine the two indicators, you would have got in somewhere down here. Not in these, because that's still going down on this indicator. So you combine them, you can see now we've broken the trend, we're going back up. You're getting into the trend there, and you're getting out up here. So you can kind of combine the two trends, get in here, get out here, and you can switch. Reverse the trend all the way down, and then get back in there and get back up. So if you combine the two indicators, you're kind of getting a lot better understanding of when it's time to get in and out of these trends. If you combine that also with some of your um, highs and lows and marking the trend with your trend lines, you can see when good time is to get in and out too. So when these trend lines cross, now that's a super time to get in and get out. Or get out of a trade. So right now we've got a trend starting again, and notice a lot of times with the same pairs, the trend lines stay the same angle. So if we were to take this trend line and just apply it up here, we're real close to the same trend line. So, and that's probably going to be the case here. So when we get a trend line here, we can actually, let's move it this way. We can actually start moving it. And see, you've got an uptrend. We're going to definitely want to get out here. So trend lines, to me, are a great friend. And I've got a ton of trend line indicators that I'll share with you um, in other videos and let you pick those up. But I like doing them because, to me, visually, you can do them mechanically and be pretty good. But visually, I like leaving the trend lines on there. I don't like them to change. Once I put a trend line on here, most trend line indicators will keep moving it down and adjusting it. I don't like to do that. I like to see where it crosses and watch where it's ready to go back, reuse those trend lines. So I like to do them manually. Now, this particular trend indicator down here, I wanted to show you a little bit more. You can make, this is the, you can make this any time frame you want. You can see right now we're on a daily chart and we're on a daily indicator because it says current value. But if I wanted to, I could set that to 1440, which is daily, and hold it there so that I could look at that trend line if I go back to my 4 hour. And that gives me a really nice indicator. Or keep in mind that if you're doing 4 hours, you got one, two, three, four, you've got several of these before they're actually going to stay there because you got to wait till after the daily each day before that trend line's not going to repaint. But this gives you a good indication of what's happening in the higher time frames, and sometimes to me that's a little bit better gauge. If I want to trade in a 4 hour time frame, I might change this to, or I'm sorry, in an hour time frame, I might change this to a 4 hour time frame. Go back down here to my 1 hour, and I might change this one also because most of my indicators you can change the time frames on. That's one of the nice things about these. Now these are not my indicators. I didn't write them. I just found them, tweaked them, put them together so that you can have indicators that actually work. So if we were to change this one to a 4 hour also, you can see what it does. It just really smooths things out so that you know when it's time to get out. That might have been a time when you said, hey, I'm going to get out here, and whoa, I'm going to get back in here because it's starting to come back down. We did have a little green there too. But in that case, if you followed these pretty closely, you'd be able to see when it's time to get in and get out of your trade. So I hope this helps you be a little more profitable. Now, if you look at my information below the video, you'll see where you can get these indicators if you want to start using them. I've got a website where you can actually pick these indicators up. I'm not sure how else to share with you except, these are totally editable indicators. You can change all the lengths on them and the different channel sizes and so forth on this one. So maybe you want to trade, a 45, moving average on it. You can see how that just changed it quite a bit. So, or maybe you want to go in here to the AweSome indicator, or the AweSome indicators down here, and you want to change the moving average method to exponential, and you can see how that might move things around. You kind of have to use your own trading style, and that would be beautiful right there, right? Nice trade. Get in, get back out. You can tweak these how you want, Put them on whatever time frame you want. You can leave them on current time frame, or you can put them in the time frame up above. You can combine them if you want to see how this one is here, and then maybe we want to go in, pick that indicator up, and run it down here and add one with 240. You can see a little bit of the difference of how that looks. Let's see if we've got it set up the way we want. Change that to moving average of 2 and 2 like we did at the one top, because you want to trade kind of the same way. And then you can see how they look together. You know that that one is the 4-hour, that one is the current. You got a lot of choppiness, but at least you have a good idea of when you're still in the green. Major turns starting to happen here. So these are awesome indicators to combine together to become more profitable. Use them however you want for your own trading style. You can even run these down here to a 1 minute time frame. And if you go to a 1 minute time frame, you might want to move your AweSome indicator to a 15-minute time frame, and maybe leave it at current, so you know really when to get in and out of these trends. That still will give you a nice trend right there, trade right there. Now you're getting back out. So you can use these to scalp with. You can use them for long term. You can use them for short term. Great indicator. I hope you enjoy them, and watch for my next videos.